Welcome to Library Out Loud. I'm Erin Dodge, Communications Specialist with the library. Today I talk with Phillip Helean. He's a falls prevention educator. We talk about the upcoming class series called A Matter of Balance. We learn who it's for, what you'll learn, and he also shares a few interesting stories. You're going to want to stick around. Welcome, Phillip, to the podcast. Today we're going to talk about Matter of Balance, one of the classes that you teach here at the library and elsewhere throughout the county. Actually, throughout the eastern Washington area.
Yeah, there's actually 5 counties.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought I recalled that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about aging and long-term care of eastern Washington. And can we start there?
Sure.
What is it, and what do you guys do?
Sure. Well, aging and long-term care of eastern Washington is all about providing resources so people can stay at home and stay independent.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
everything from, help with fall prevention, which is what we do, or help signing up for Medicare and Medicaid.
Right.
Help with caregivers, dementia, Alzheimer's,
Right.
Housing,
Yeah.
all sorts of things.
And we have a lot of those programs here at the library
Right.
for folks. So you guys are a great community partner for
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so let's shift to Matter of Balance and your role. So you're a falls prevention educator?
Right.
Did I get that right?
Right. Right.
And so Matter of Balance, what is the series about, and where did it come from? How did it start?
So A Matter of Balance was developed. It's an evidence-based program that was developed at Boston University.
Okay.
And it's specifically for people who are 60 and older and perhaps have a fear of falling or they've experienced falls.
Yeah.
And the more I've gotten into it, the more I realize that it's really for everybody.
I was like, I'm not quite 60 yet, and I want to take the class.
No, it's a great class, and we've been doing it here in Spokane since 2015.
Okay. And what the series, it's over a course of several weeks.
Right.
And what types of things will people learn when they take the class?
So really it's everything to do, we cover every topic under the sun that you can think of, from dehydration to medications to pets and stairs and railings and wall bars and
I swear my
escalators.
pets are trying to injure me when they run in front.
Yeah, there are a lot of accidents where people trip over pets.
Yeah.
The emergency rooms here in Spokane, every weekend they see somebody that has tripped over a pet.
Yeah.
Or fallen for different reasons.
Sure. And sorry, I kind of interrupted you. You were on a roll, but so that's fascinating. It's so many things, and do you do it all yourself?
No. Okay. So I've been trained as a master trainer.
Okay.
So my job and my role is to recruit and train volunteer coaches.
Right.
And the volunteer coaches are the one that teach the classes.
Okay.
So I also teach some classes as well. But the volunteer coaches teach the classes, and then in classes we also have one healthcare professional that comes in and they demonstrate how to get down on the ground, how to get back up, and answer any medical questions.
Oh, okay. And did I hear you, or maybe I read it somewhere, there's like sort of exercises and sort of a routine that you can kind of get into?
Right. So the whole class consists of, and there's 8 sessions.
Okay.
When I first started this, I thought, fall prevention, it's going to be 1 2-hour presentation to get rid of your throw rugs and extension cords and you'll be good. But when I'd heard that it's actually 8 sessions and each session is 2 hours, I was kind of skeptical that what are you going to talk about? But the more we got into it and the more you realize that the materials that we go through and the things that we do just cover so much more. People really don't even look at it as a class.
Okay.
They might be there because they said their kids made them come, or somebody thought they should be there.
I do know a lot of people who I've told about the class, and I say it's fall prevention. They're like, oh, I got to sign up my parents.
Right.
So.
But honestly, when people come after that first session, it's just so personal. A lot of times they think they're the only one that has that fear of falling.
Okay.
And by the end of the first class, they just get so interested because you're talking about so many things that are relevant to them that can help them that it doesn't even seem like a class. They look forward to coming to the rest of the sessions.
And yeah, it's yeah, I've had that. We've all had that feeling, right? Where it's like, oh, am I the only one?
Right.
So that's great that they get to come in and see, oh, I'm not. We're all kind of in the same situation.
We are.
Same predicament.
Right.
Wow, that's...
You know, one thing that I learned, and, you know, I'd had parents that had fallen, and I didn't really think about how common it was.
Right.
But what I didn't realize was, and we work closely with the fire departments and emergency rooms, but for example, the city of Spokane fire department has 18 stations.
Okay.
And in 2023, they went on almost 6,000 calls.
Oh, man.
Because people had fallen.
Wow.
Either to just help them because they couldn't get up.
Right.
Or they had to be treated or transported to the hospital.
Oh.
And the average cost, if they have to be transported to the hospital, is $30,000 or more by the time you figure an ambulance ride and
Right.
surgery and rehab and physical therapy and all of those things.
Yeah. They came when my mom fell.
Yes.
But I was able to take her in, but she broke her arm. This was a few
Yes.
years ago.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a scary feeling. We were out in public and, you know, there she's on the ground.
Right.
I'm just like, don't move. You might have a concussion. Wait till they get here.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And we talk about that in our class if
Yeah.
you've fallen. And you know, everybody I've talked to since I've started this job, not just people that are 60 and over, but within 30 seconds they say, well, yeah, I fell a few weeks ago, or they know somebody who fell. And didn't realize how common they are. So what an impactful and important class this is for everybody.
Yeah. I like the point that you made that people might feel intimidated by an 8-week course, like, oh, that's a big commitment. But like we're saying, you get into that first class and you start learning, oh, this applies to me. There's a lot of people that also have this issue, and it just becomes something you want to go to and learn about.
They do. It's exciting. There's a lot of fall prevention classes out there, and most all of them are exercise classes.
Okay.
Which are excellent classes, and we encourage our participants to sign up for those. But our class covers so much more of that about we call cognitive restructuring.
Okay.
You know, how do you think about falls? You know, how do you overcome that fear of falling? What are the things that you can do to help prevent falls?
Absolutely.
And what happens is, as people get older, many people think that falling is just a natural part of aging.
Okay.
And it's not.
It's not. Okay.
And then
yes.
the other important factor is that most falls are preventable.
Okay.
Because we look at when falls happen, and honestly, if they'd have done something just a little bit differently, they could have prevented that fall. So what happens is when people get older, specifically, they have that fear of falling, and in their mind they think that, well, I just need to play it safe, so I'm just going to stay home.
I'm just going to stay home and not go out.
And in their mind they think they're playing it safe, but honestly, that fear of falling and that lack of activity and the restriction of activities really lead to depression and anxiety and worry, because they're not going out being with their friends, doing the activities they like to do.
Absolutely.
And it's just counterproductive by staying home when they think they're playing it safe.
Right.
So this class is all about encouraging and showing people how they can stay active,
Oh, good.
keep doing the things that they like to do, overcome that fear of falling, but learn that they have to change their way of thinking and do things differently.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So it's more than exercise. It's also cognitive thought process.
Absolutely.
Things you can think about, look at, do, that all go together.
Yeah, there's a lot to the class. So it's a lot of brainstorming, discussion, problem solving. It's really geared towards the individuals. We don't monitor how they do afterwards, but it's really to get each person to realize for themselves what they can do to prevent falls in their own home. And what works for one person might not work for someone else. Right. However, you do find through the problem solving and sharing experiences and all of those things that it's a real good social activity too, to get people out and realize that they're not alone, and that maybe they've struggled with one thing. One example would be one of our participants had a really hard time putting on his socks. Yeah. But another participant mentioned, hey, there's a device that you can get that can help you with that.
Oh, I need that.
We all do. And they never realized that. And had they not taken the class, they'd still be struggling trying to put their socks on instead of coming up, and they got one of those devices.
Nice.
So the class is a lot of brainstorming, discussion, going through a lot of material, talking about, again, everything that you can imagine, from hydration to medications to all of those things. And then there's 2 short videos that we watch in sessions 1 and 3. And then we don't call this an exercise class, but there are exercises that we do. Okay. They're really light, moderate exercises. Half of them are sitting in a chair, and half are standing up, holding on to the back of the chair. Okay. But they're specifically designed to help with balance, stability, flexibility, and endurance. Okay. So many of the motions that people do are straightforward, right, as opposed to side, looking left and looking right. Right. All of those things. Correct. Left, right. Yeah, so these are great exercises. We do those. They take about 25 minutes in sessions 3 through 8. Okay. Encourage participants to keep on doing those. Yeah. Again, it's their choice, but when they start to see the benefits, right, it really makes a difference for them. And then, like I said earlier, a healthcare professional comes in, right, physical therapists, doctors, great, nurses, and they answer medical questions, because many of our coaches aren't medical people. Sure. So we don't answer medical questions, but we have one session where they come in and they're able to answer medical questions that people may have. Okay. And then they actually physically demonstrate how to get down on the ground and how to get back up safely.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, as I get older, getting up and down is not like it used to be, and it's those moments where you think, wow, yeah, I am getting older. When I was young, this was easy. Right. Now it's not so much. So having a class where you can kind of learn the ways that your body can do that now as it's older, that's important. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's realizing that by doing those exercises, and this class doesn't mean you're never going to fall. Like we said, most falls are preventable. But by doing the exercises and staying active, if you do have a fall, your recovery time is so much better, and injuries most likely are going to be less severe. Okay. So you can recover quicker, and just that activity that you do helps so much.
Do you have a green thumb? Are you new to gardening? No matter your skill level, every season is gardening season at the library. We have an extensive collection of gardening books and online resources that can plant the seeds for new ideas and help you cultivate your indoor and outdoor projects. We also have seed libraries. Our Take and Give seed libraries are currently accepting donations of vegetable, herb, and flower seeds. Bring your heirloom seeds into a library to share with other gardeners for spring planting. Learn more today at scld.org.
So, Phillip, you brought some materials here, and I see this has the class name on it, A Matter of Balance. What do we have here?
So these are the participant handbooks. Okay. One important thing, too, about this class is to mention that it's a free class for everybody.
That's right. Yes, it's free.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything. And Absolutely. Why do we do that? Again, like we mentioned earlier, one fall can cost more than $30,000. Right. Also, the mortality rate in Spokane County is one of the highest in the state. Something that you never really think about, but it is. So these participant handbooks have all the materials. We give those to all the participants.
That's great.
There's a great section in there. There's the section on how to get down on the ground and how to get back up, which is demonstrated by our healthcare professional. There's a really long section in there about hazards in the home. Okay. And so it's a checklist that they go through room by room. How do they store things? Do they keep things on the top shelf or the lower shelf? Right. Bending down can be just as much of a fall hazard as reaching up high. Yep. But room by room, they go through that with a fresh set of eyes and see, they never really thought about it, but this box that's in the hallway potentially could be a tripping hazard. Absolutely.
And so they get to keep this workbook.
Right.
And sometimes you might take a class and you retain maybe, I don't know what the percentage is, I'm going to guess like 10% with you when you walk out the door. And this workbook sounds like you get a lot more, like you get it to refer to after the class.
Absolutely. It's a resource that can help them. They can go back and look at some of their handouts and things like that.
Okay.
A lot of great information. And then also our exercises are in there as well.
Okay, great. And so you talked a little bit about the fear of falling. Are there other concerns that people regularly bring to the class that you hear about?
You know, we look at a lot of situations that cause falls, and so often it's times when people are in a hurry.
Absolutely.
When they're trying to carry too many groceries, when they're...
Who's not guilty of that? I could do one more bag.
on a step stool or a ladder.
Oh, yeah.
Just not paying attention, all of those things. One of the things that we talk a lot about is assertiveness, and then the thought that, well, if I ask my neighbor or my friend or my family to come and help me put this light bulb in, they're going to think I can't be independent anymore.
Okay.
So there's this fear of I'm going to lose my independence if I'm asking for help. When actually, again, when we talk about that cognitive restructuring, we're talking about actually by asking for help, you're maintaining and keeping your independence.
Yes.
And the reality is when somebody asks you for help or me for help, our first response is absolutely.
Right. It is, yeah.
Even if it's just changing a light bulb.
Absolutely.
But that wrong way of thinking is, I don't want to bother anybody. They're too busy.
Right.
They don't have time. I'm going to get up on that step ladder myself, and chances are they might not fall, but there's the potential that they could.
That they could, yes. So my mom lives near you. We talked about where you guys live up there. And I encourage her, call us if you need my husband or me or the kids to come help you with stuff.
Right.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and absolutely. And really this is helping the participants realize whose choice is it if they want to stay at home. I can share personally, we had some conversations with my mom to think maybe we should get her into a facility. Sure. Because she called the fire department a few times too.
Yeah.
And as I've learned through this job and all the resources that are available, and we did, she stayed at home. She was 94 when she passed away about 4 years ago. But at the same time, she asked for help, and we were willing to help her, and we wanted to help her.
Good.
And when people that want to stay home can stay home, they're much more happier, healthier, all of those things that help prevent falls.
Right.
There are some great facilities, and for a lot of people, that works out really well.
Yeah.
Many of them are very expensive, too.
Yes, I've heard some rumors of the cost, and it blows my mind.
Right. Right. So anything we can do, but really the ultimate thing is not just helping the participants to realize how they have to think about things, but their kids and their family and how do they talk to their doctor.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That last part about how do you talk to your doctor, that's also really important. I think if you don't mention something, if you don't talk about something, your physician, your provider won't know that you're having a problem. So
exactly. You know, we think, oh, doctors are too busy and the nurse is too busy, and they have a challenging schedule to see so many patients in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, true.
But part of that assertiveness is saying, wait, before you go, doctor, I have this question or I have this issue and I need to get some information or some advice from you. One of the first questions they ask all the time is, have you had any falls recently? And people will say, well, I don't want to report a fall because they're going to take away my independence. Yeah,
both my parents, I think they don't tell us all the times that they fall.
They don't. Or if they're like my mom, will say, hey, Mom, what's that bruise on your elbow? I don't know, bruise. I didn't know I had. I must have bumped it on the counter. And we'll say, is that why the fire department was here the other day?
Oops.
But honestly, by telling your doctor about, and family members about falls, you can start to look at, well, when did it occur? I mean, there could be an injury, an internal injury that you don't really know about.
Yeah.
Does it always happen after you take your medications, or does it always happen before you eat, in the mornings or afternoons?
Yes.
Getting out of bed is another common place where people experience falls.
Absolutely. So Well, this class sounds like really helpful, really informative, all encompassing, and really takes like a whole, I don't know, approach. Like we're looking at all of it, not just
Right.
exercising. We're looking at, like you said, the cognitive piece, what can you do in your environment, all of it. So that sounds great.
Right.
Now, what if somebody can't make the class?
So there are a lot of people that just don't have the mobility or the transportation to make it to a class. There is a one-on-one program called Falls Talk, developed by Dr. Victoria Panzer.
Okay.
And it's really a series of phone calls on a one-on-one basis
All right.
to walk them through a process to help them get to realize what they can do to prevent falls too in their own homes
Okay.
where they are. So that's available too.
And that's really individualized, and you kind of set up a call time and
Right.
and kind of have a phone
Yeah. We
interview session.
Right. One of the things they do is they keep a log, and
Okay.
they might mention, they'll start to track how many times have I lost my balance today.
Okay.
Did I have a fall? Did I have a near fall?
Okay.
What stopped me from having that fall? But it really gets them thinking, and as they plot that out through each week, they can start to see some patterns.
Yes, and like what you're talking about, is it morning, afternoon, before you eat,
Right
after medication, kind of all of those details.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
So, what a great program!
It is.
Both programs. What great programs! I don't. Have we covered it all? I see we have a few other little pamphlets, so I'm assuming those go out to participants
this
as
is
well.
our the one about the class,
Okay.
A Matter of Balance, and this one is for aging and long-term care. It's called Community Living Connections.
Okay.
And so many times people don't realize how many resources there are available.
Okay.
You know, who should I call or where should I go? But if you call our Community Living Connections number, it's one call, and we have people that answer the phones, and they're able to tell you exactly what's available, what might not be available,
Okay.
who to contact, where to go, and all of those things,
Great.
no matter what they might need help with.
That sounds great. And we're going to put the link to the ALTQ. Is that
Yes.
the
Yes.
short word for Aging and Long-Term Care of Eastern
Yes.
Washington? We're going to put that website into the description of what we're doing today down below. And so folks can get there and probably find that number, I'm assuming?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
They can.
Great.
You know, I would add, too, that in Spokane County, I had mentioned the 6,000 calls, but in the valley here as well, same thing. It's their number one call for the fire department to go out and help people. And we have classes set up at libraries, at churches, at retirement homes,
Right.
senior centers. They're all free. So we have ongoing classes now. The counties that we cover are Spokane, Ferry, Pend Oreille, Stevens, and Whitman County.
Okay.
So we've had classes in Pullman and Colville and Cheney and Republic and Deer Park.
All
and
up
over.
and down the east side there.
Right, right.
Well, Phillip, thank you for being here today. What a great workshop. What a service to the community that you're doing and AltQ is giving us. Just thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And, you know, the most rewarding thing is getting to build those relationships with the participants and really truly seeing firsthand from their first class to their last class just the way they've changed and how they've learned and taken
Nice.
the appropriate steps to prevent falls, and just how they feel more independent and the freedom to do some of the things, even though
Right.
they may have to do them a little bit differently.
Now, if a potential participant was feeling hesitant, like kind of maybe they're embarrassed, or what might you say to them?
That happens, and there's no reason to be embarrassed.
Okay.
I can tell you a quick story. So,
Sure.
If we have time,
We do.
my biggest fear when I took this job as the falls prevention educator was, what happens if I fall?
Okay. Yeah.
So, if we have time for a quick story.
Yeah, we do.
The very first class I was teaching, this is in the January of 2023.
Okay.
Up at Rockwood Retirement, and there was a person in that class that his neighbor had noticed how unstable he was and everything. And so, but I was excited as the new educator, and came in, and we had our first class on Tuesday. We came back on Thursday, and I asked, how did it go? And 2 of the people said that they fell on Wednesday.
Oh, no.
So I said, well, what happened? And he said, well, I was downtown. We were just walking across the street. I was with a friend, and down I went. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I tripped over something. I don't know if I was dizzy or what it was.
Right.
And I said, well, what did you do? And he said, well, I looked around because I was embarrassed, and I got up as quick as I could. So we talked about that.
Okay.
Being embarrassed is what you brought up.
Yeah.
And should we be embarrassed when we fall? And what would happen if you saw someone fall? Your first reaction,
It would be to go to help them.
you want to help them.
Yeah.
It's not to embarrass them. Make sure
Of course
they're
not.
okay.
Yep.
And then the second important thing is to, if you do experience a fall, your adrenaline is going, and you need to take a few deep breaths.
Yes.
And relax, and get up slowly and safely.
When my mom fell, I would not let her just sit right up. I said, nope, hold on.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah.
And that's the right thing to do.
And I talked to her, and I said, you're fine. I'm here. People are walking by us on the sidewalk. It's fine.
And you want to make sure you didn't suffer an injury, like
Yeah.
bump your elbow or hit your
She
head
broke
or
her arm.
anything like that. Yeah. So it happens. That's why we get up slowly
Yeah.
and safely. So fast forward to our session 7, when the healthcare professional comes in and they demonstrated how to get down and get back up.
Mm-hmm.
And then she asked the question, so has anybody fallen recently? Well, guess who had to raise their hand? That
Was it
was
you?
me. It was right after church. We were walking. It had just snowed. And
Yeah.
where the driveways sloped down,
Yep.
I hit that and down I went. So then she asked the next worst question. She said, what did you do? I said, well, I was really embarrassed, so I looked around, hoped nobody saw me, and got up as quick as I could. So I still hadn't learned my own lesson yet. So
Right.
that's why I'm still here 2.5 years later.
I
But
think that's pretty common, just to
It
be
is.
embarrassed and try to get up. Nope, I'm okay. Everything's okay. And maybe it's not, like you said, the adrenaline's
absolutely.
going. And
we talk about all those
Okay.
things. And so don't be embarrassed if you fall. And the more you realize it, the more probably everybody you know has fallen at one time or another.
Absolutely.
And what can we do to help them and prevent future falls?
what a great story. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.